All right, guys, we're in the gear shed. Welcome to Paddle Talk, where we're going to talk about paddles today. Um, this is my paddle, standard Carlisle River Find, um, 60-inch stock length. I think that's your standard. Every raft guide has a 60-inch paddle. Every customer has picked up a 60-inch paddle. I think that's standard length. This one I have trimmed down to 57 inches. Real easy to do something like that. I drilled this rivet out. I knocked a T-grip off, lopped off the appropriate amount, put the T-grip back on, laid it flat with some shims to get this perfect with the blade, and put it back together, drill, rivet, bada bing, bada boom, 57-inch paddle. How did I come to that? Well, um, I was on the pile, R1 surfing in the wave, and I would run into a problem when I would go for a forward paddle stroke. I would not be able to get my blade all the way out of the water. And in my mind, I was about 3 inches shy, and so I took 3 inches off. Um, I think it worked pretty well. Now, more dynamics to paddle length, I think, are important. Our arms width, we want our arms part so that we're doing a nice push up where we're super strong. We want all our strength. We need everything we get, especially in R1 rafting. I think when we're maxed out down here, um, it's a lot on this shoulder, and maybe we're being counterintuitive. I think a lot of us just, piss with the dick we got and make it happen. That's certainly what I've done until now, with a little inspiration to change the way things are. Here we are. You know who you are. Uh, Also, blade design I think can be better. I think that once the blade is fully submerged, continuing to stick it further in the water is not really going to get us a whole lot. I do agree with the long guide sticks for leverage on a custy boat, but leverage isn't what we need in R1 rafting, really at all. What we need is speed and agility, some great feathering. I think there's something to be said about that. Um, so yeah, I feel like arms width. I might even be able to shave a little bit off of this guy here, and get a little bit more out of it. 57 inches. I've surfed with it several times. I'll tell you that I thought about cutting my paddle because um, I kept thinking about it. I kept finding reasons why I wanted a shorter paddle. Now, since I have a shorter paddle, I have not found any reasons why I want a longer paddle, especially for R1 rafting. I've not been any downstream with this paddle, but I have surfed with it several times, and like I said, I feel like I don't um, miss my forward strokes by not pulling my paddle out of the water. I feel like that has been alleviated, and maybe I could do even a little bit more. And like I said, I haven't really found a need to want a longer paddle. Now, I have had to adjust some of my pry from reaching way back. With the shorter length, it does matter a little bit. Some other things I think we can improve on are blade shape. I feel like this is kind of like the wheel. I don't want to reinvent the wheel, but every paddle that you look at has very similar paddle blade shape, and that may be because it's the best, but maybe it's not. You can see that I paddle shallow water quite a bit, and I've started to wear the edge right off this paddle. This paddle was symmetrical. Um, I think that's saying something. I think that if we were to take a little bit of surface area from here, so when we're in that shallow water, we're actually getting a little bit deeper in the water, a little higher in the water, deeper in the water. We want to be vertical. It doesn't always work out. We're often reaching way out, got these kind of wonky paddle strokes, and I think that taking a little bit off of here and maybe even putting it on this other side could be beneficial. We'll see. We'll see about that. Just trying to start a conversation here. I think length is definitely the easiest thing to change. I think T grip can play a lot in what's going on, just purely based out of comfort. and ergonomics. There's a lot of different T-grips out there. I've got several paddles here. You know, this one's kind of wide, flat. Doesn't fit my hand super good. You know, we've got some other ones here that have, you know, a little bit more curves. This one actually fits pretty good. It's kind of bulbous in the middle, kind of tapering on the ends. Actually feels pretty nice there. You know, another Carlisle, typical. This is actually, I like this one, and I like this kind of more rounded one. I'm not really sure why. Yeah, this one actually feels pretty good. Easy to orient. This is a pretty wild paddle. I'm not sure what it's made of. Showed up at my house. Leaning up against my fence. Looks like a canoe paddle. You know, random. Not really liking this really at all. This is kind of just really cheap. If you were carving it out of wood in the backcountry, it would probably look something like this. Not really a fan of it. Here's your plastic counterpart. A lot of people really do like these. I really just kind of want to be able to hold on to my paddle, you know, when things go western. I want to be able to hold on to this thing, and I don't feel like that I get that out of this guy. But I will say, of all of these different T-grips, all the blade shapes pretty much identical all the way across the board. You know, let's see how much shorter my paddle is. They're all the same until you get to this weird guy right here, which you know, yeah, pretty much the same all the way across. I think we can improve on that. Yeah, that'll talk. Thanks, guys.